Welcome back to Cats, Chats, and Coffee Podcast, guys. Hello, it's your girl Liv here. I have Alex with me as well, and we are back for another episode. Today is going to be a little bit of a chill one, because I can't do this.
I did it too! I was like, girl, keep going, girl. Let's just go. Let's flow with it. She was literally just trying to, we have this thing
Guys,
on our computer. Okay, we're just going right in. We have a timer on our computer that tries, so we keep track of how long our episodes go. We have these intentions of having like 45-minute episodes, hour episodes, 30 minutes, and we try as hard as we can to keep the timer.
Short. Yeah, and we always go above it.
Always go over it, and then she was trying to reach over to the laptop at the same time she was introing.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do my nice, beautiful hello, welcome intro at the same time that I'm like not looking at the computer trying to start the timer.
And I'm looking being like, you got it.
As I get fed up with it, it starts the timer.
Yeah, we're good. So we started it. Now we continue the intro. People want to know what's going on.
Yeah. Bear with us with the bounce around.
Yeah.
We're having a sit down, just a chill, we said this before, but this one is a very chill, more like story time, just chat with us kind of episode. It's like a beautiful day here, and we went on a cute little coffee date this morning, which we will chat about where we went. We really just wanted to, have a short recording day and get out and be able to enjoy the sunshine after this, which is, going to be the mood for the summer for sure.
Absolutely. This will be a good one if you're headed out for a walk or going for a drive somewhere, run a couple errands, nothing too serious.
If you just want something like funny and chill to put on while you're doing your tasks or your errands or whatever.
Yeah.
But let's get into our coffee feature first.
Absolutely.
I love where we went this morning. It was
a little surprise.
Yeah, so you've been there before.
I have.
Yeah.
Yep. We, as some of you guys know, because we've mentioned this on previous shows, is we have a list of coffee shops around the HRM, Dartmouth, Bedford, Halifax, as well as some outside of the area.
Yeah.
And we like to try more of the local non-franchise ones. I know we've featured Starbucks before, and we'll probably feature other coffee shops like that in the future, but we really try to aim for those smaller shops. So I had taken one of my friends to this coffee shop in April, and loved it and have been thinking about it ever since. And then today when Liv and I got together, it's like 30 degrees out today.
It's literally so hot.
You are in the cutest little dress. I've got shorts and a tank top on.
We're like summer outfits out today.
Feeling good about the weather. And so I thought we'd take the 20-ish minute drive. It's a kind of a great day to do it. Yeah. And we had the time.
Yeah.
Out to Aroma Maya. So Aroma Maya Coffee and Donuts is what it's called.
Okay. I was tagging it on Instagram because I made a little story and I noticed it said roasteries.
Oh, did it? Yeah.
Is what they called it on that. But
interesting. Yeah, I googled that. It says Aroma Maya Coffee and Donuts here, but I think they are also a roastery, so that would make sense.
It smelled burnt when we walk in.
So. It did sound like they were roasting.
Yeah, for sure. No, but it was great, and it definitely is a donut shop as well because they have a huge variety of like really, really delicious looking donuts.
Yeah, the location we went to was in Enfield.
Yeah, so there's a couple of them.
Yeah, there's one in Truro. I think it's a takeout version. It's like a smaller one, and then the one in Enfield. And there might be one more. I'm not quite sure, but this one, if you take exit 7 off towards the big stop where you would go to like get fuel and gas, if you keep going down the street and past that into Enfield, it's right like a minute down the street, and you can't miss it. It's such a cute little spot. What did you order?
It was the iced shaken espresso, and I got the oat milk version of it, and then I just got a pump of vanilla. Right. I kind of messed up though, and I got just the 12 ounce instead of the 16 ounce.
I saw that. I was going to ask you. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was already shaking on my drive out. Probably the lack of food.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, I was obviously like, oh, this coffee is just gonna... And I'm still shaking. It's like
from
hours
the espresso,
later. So it was really good, though. Besides it being too sweet for me, I definitely didn't need a full pump of sweetener in just a 12 ounce, but it was delicious.
Well, yeah, because I accidentally got a 12 ounce at Cortado the other day, and I meant to say 16, but I said 12. It feels quite small compared to the
think of Pops, like, it is a small
Yeah,
pop,
it is a
what you would
small.
get at, like, a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember the last time I drank a small drink. Like, I'm
Yeah,
always...
so if it's the espresso and then milk and then a full pump and the ice, like, it's quite, not a lot of room in there.
I felt like I just chugged an espresso shot. And, like, you saw me, I was, like, halfway through that and was, like, jittery.
I finished mine before you.
Yeah.
Mine was a medium.
Yeah, so what'd you get?
I got a chai latte, but I got the iced version of it, and they don't actually specifically offer that on the menu, I think.
Okay.
I didn't see it. I just saw chai latte on the hot side of things, so I asked her if she could do it iced, and they did. Also, obviously, oat milk. Stay away from the dairy, obviously, in our coffees. Mm-hmm. But yeah, really sweet as well. So right up my alley.
It was good. She let me try it.
Yeah, I shared it with you. I
just realized now I didn't let you try mine.
That's okay.
You probably didn't want to.
You didn't have much to try anyway. It was quite small.
It was literally a sippy cup coffee.
Yeah.
That was funny.
But yeah, I loved it. We also shout out to Izzy's Bagels, because this isn't a coffee shop, but they do serve coffee, so we could go there and feature them.
Yeah.
But Izzy's Bagels, for anyone who lives in Bedford, will know that there's a bagel shop called Izzy's, and they offer a variety of different bagels, like sweet bagels, like French toast, to savory, and I think they're homemade cream cheese and different spreads that they have, like cinnamon, hazelnut, and onion, and chive, and garlic, and
just like so
yummy things.
All the options you could want.
So yeah, Aroma Maya features and offers and sells Izzy's Bagels in their shop.
Yes.
So we got bagels for breakfast as well. What did you get?
I got the cheddar and Swiss bagel with the homemade herb and garlic cream cheese.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. I felt like I was eating, like, garlic bread.
Yeah.
It was, like, the garlic in it was so strong,
yes.
but I was obsessed with it.
Yeah.
With my coffee, it didn't really balance as well. I will be honest. I was like, oh my god.
I never thought of that either.
I'm like eating garlic bread and then drinking this like sweet ass
funny.
Coffee. It was funny though, but it was really good. Which one did you get?
So last time I went there with my friend, we each got a savory and a sweet. Well, I got a sweet bagel, she got a savory bagel, and we cut it in half, and I had half and half. So I had tried a couple of the other versions,
right.
And today, because I also was really shaky because I didn't eat, and I don't even think I had a glass of water at that point.
Oh my god!
And we were driving to get espresso and coffee.
Yeah.
I decided just to get the everything bagel with plain cream cheese. Try not to. I'm already not supposed to be having dairy and gluten, so wanted to settle down with the least amount possible.
Yeah. Get the basics.
But it was it's so good.
The bagels,
so yummy.
Izzy's bagels are really good. I think there's a couple other places that probably sell Izzy's bagels as well, because I've never been there, but I've definitely had them before.
Yeah.
But yeah, so really good, like, baked goods, like all the donut options, like, looked really good.
We did grab some donuts.
We haven't tried them yet, because
I kind of did.
You did? I did. Oh yeah, you did, because we took a picture of me biting it.
I had a bite.
She didn't actually take a bite.
I didn't take a bite, but I had my mouth on it, so then I pulled it out because I thought we were gonna take photos for like Instagram. But where I had my mouth on it, it kind of got moist and like melted the. Anyway, so when you were in the bathroom, I like ate the bite of where my mouth was like an hour earlier. Yeah, so yeah, I had a bite of mine. I didn't bite yours though. Yours is still fully intact.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at mine.
What did you get?
I got the cookie dough one, but I can't
so
even fathom like that in my stomach right now because the coffee was so sweet and got me like so jittery that I'm like, no.
We're just high on sugar right now.
Yeah, we probably were. Listen. We rate everything really good, what we've tried so far. I already can tell that the donuts are probably going to be really good as well.
Yeah, I have had the donuts there before. I don't remember which one we got back then, because we got two. Peanut butter and jelly donut. We got a peanut butter and jelly, and then I think we got like a cinnamon twist one, because I'm really basic with I really like cinnamon sugar or like honey dipped, the simple. Funny enough, I don't really like chocolate donuts. Like if you go to Tim's and get like a box of 10 or 20 donuts, like I asked specifically for no chocolate donuts.
Interesting.
I just think it tastes like fake chocolate.
Those ones
weird.
Definitely do, yeah.
Yeah, there's like a weird taste, but like I know people that swear by chocolate donuts and love them. Just not really for me. But yeah, I got the cinnamon bun donut, which is just basically a plain donut with a little bit of cinnamon on it, and then a little bit of icing sugar. So it's actually not that sweet at all. It's like
not overpowering.
Not like the fancy topped Oreo drizzled cookie crumb
Mine
ones.
had like a literal like wad of cookie dough in the middle of the donut.
Yeah,
that
it
like
good.
It comes pretty high off. Like they're very like bougie donuts there. Yeah. Like you need to have some room in your belly if you're getting one of those for sure.
I'm not sure. Most of the donut shops in Halifax have vegan options. I think Aroma Maya does. I think I saw one there last time. They should be, but don't quote me on that, guys, if you are one of the people who like vegan donuts. Sure. But we do recommend to go out to check them out if you are.
And they have a cute, like the location out in Enfield was super cute. The seating was like a little questionable. They didn't have like their outdoor patio furniture out yet, which today was definitely the kind of day that you probably should have had that, and we would have loved to use it. And because of that, like everyone was sitting inside and like didn't really have a choice. So it was definitely a little bit busier, but it's a cute spot for sure.
And you can buy, aside from their merch and stuff, they do have a whole rack of different coffee syrups. And I was looking at the chai one, actually. I was thinking about getting it. But yeah, I think they make their own syrups as well.
Cool.
So yeah, check them out.
Great spot.
Enfield, Exit 7 off where the big stop is, the Irving or the gas station there. I was thinking about it since the last time I went in April, so I'm glad we got a chance to go.
I'm glad we got to go. And yeah, just for reference, it's Aroma Maya. I didn't really understand the name at first because she kept saying it, but I wasn't picking up like what it actually was.
Yeah.
So yeah, Aroma
Maya.
Yeah, really good. Check it out, guys, for sure.
Awesome.
But yeah, moving into story time, I guess. We're just literally gonna...
What are we talking about?
I thought it would be funny if we shared some really bad dates that we went on. But we don't
we have 30 minutes or 4 days? Because I have literally 4 days worth of bad days. This is supposed to be a 30-minute episode.
Short and sweet, yeah.
That's so funny.
No, I feel like we can compile the funny stories and the issues that came up together and just... Yeah, shoot the shit and honestly, whatever. I feel like obviously last month with it being May and mental health and everything like that, our last 2 episodes were big, heavy topics, and we have shared a lot of that stuff already. So I think it's fun for us to just have lighter episodes. And
yes, we do laugh. we can smile.
Funny people. We are despite what you might think.
I think I'm so funny, actually. My mom always says I'm so funny. I have a lot of dad jokes, which are funny, but I think my humor is I don't know, mixed between dry but also silly and goofy at the same time.
Yeah. Mine's sarcastic, a little morbid, but also
But I love to banter. I love making fun of people. I love being made fun of.
Yeah.
I love being called out on my stuff and people just pointing things out for me that I can actually be yeah, you're right, because that's funny to me. So if you have a good personality and can banter and not take yourself too seriously, I freaking love that.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to be for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you guys just don't get to see that side of us enough based off of what our topics have been lately, and obviously with us doing bi-weekly episodes, you're not getting 4 within a month or 5 within a month, there's only 2 maybe, how that works. And yeah, so we want to just kind of space it out, so there's obviously some really strong mental health topics that we're passionate about talking about, and then obviously stuff like that that's just a little lighter, just a little lighter, easier on the head, and stuff like that. But what I was thinking when I was let's do a story time about worst dates, I was reflecting back over my stories, because to be honest, I haven't been in the dating field, I haven't been actively going on dates as much in the past couple years as I was whenever I first moved to Halifax.
For sure.
My story is a throwback to when I first moved to Halifax. This would be pre-COVID, but it's a good one. I think Alex is she's gonna share the things. Yours is also similar to mine.
I mean, I'm actually sitting here going through some of mine, and I'm trying to pick. Because, again, it's there's so many, but it's what's worthy of talking about, because I'm sure everyone can listen and be think of a time where they've had bad dates and they've just been so boring or so, not what you expected.
Yeah.
But have you ever, wait, before we get into that, have you ever been catfished? I don't know if we've talked about this. Did we, in our tips, tricks, and icks one?
This story I'm about to tell, does this count as catfishing?
Maybe. Oh, I don't really know the story.
I don't think it does. Yeah.
Did you tell this to me already?
I, like, briefly told you about the guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and, like, what the situation was. But it was so long ago, I wouldn't have told you the whole story. It's just, whenever I think bad date, this one immediately comes to mind because from the second I opened the door and got in the car with this man.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know exactly what it is now, don't you? Yeah, from the second I almost
quoted something, and I'm not going to give it away, so that's funny.
Yeah, so from, like, the second he picked me up to the second he drove me home, I was having an awful time from the minute.
Fair.
Yeah.
But, like, okay, let's start with, like, how you guys even met. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, okay, so, it was definitely Tinder. We started talking on Tinder. Throwback to, like, 3+ years ago, I was heavy in the gym, so I was super into, like, guys who were weightlifting. And this was before I was, like, openly bisexual, so I was very only going after men. I wasn't open to anything else.
The typical gym guy.
Yeah, and, like, I don't know if I've shared this that much on here, but, like, I love dark features. I love the tall, dark, and handsome look. I don't really care so much about height, but I like to feel smaller than someone, and I like guys with, like, big beards and, like, big muscles or even big bellies or big chests and stuff. Like, I'm into that kind of stuff. So, right off the bat, Tinder, you're looking at their physical. This guy's got a huge beard. He's got these, like, massive big pecs. His shoulders are huge, and I'm just like, oh, yeah. And, like, honestly, like, his beard was super trimmed and groomed, so I knew that he had, like, enough feminine.
One sec. You guys are totally going to hear. This is one of these episodes where we're not even going to cut a bunch of stuff because it's just funner
this is just straight through.
We are literally watching, a fire truck coming down, so you can probably hear it in the background.
Yeah, we have our windows open because it's so
warm out today.
Yeah, that we just couldn't, but
I feel like we couldn't ignore it.
We can't avoid it.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's good.
Okay.
It's gonna
and
take
you know
a
what,
minute.
guys? Here's the thing. I live across the street from, like, old people's homes, and I'm not kidding, it's really sad, but we have ambulances and fire trucks, like, come this way at least once a week.
That's heartbreaking.
And it makes me so stressed out because I, like, will run to the other side to see if I can see where it's going, but I have a building covering, so I can't always tell.
Yeah.
But I'm like, damn it, every time I hear it coming, I'm like, no.
Well, yeah, I think that's just sirens in general. We already have, like, a bad.
We've seen a few today. Oh my god, like, on the highway and stuff.
Yeah, there's a ghost cop car flying past us.
Anyway,
hot weekend. Who knows what's going on?
It must be because of the weather too.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so Tinder, you are into hot, buffy, masculine, beardy, booby guys.
Alex's quick description.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
So, yeah, just, like, you know how it is, Tinder, you get a physical view of someone. So we moved our conversation over to Snap. So I'm getting in the moment snaps of this guy, and he still looks great, right?
From one physical judgment to another platform of physical judgment.
Literally. Yeah. But that was, like, all I had to base it off of, and obviously what he
That's why your Snap score is, like, 68,000 or something, right?
It's definitely more than 68,000.
You know what's weird? It is insane how many people Snap. Mine's, like, 18,000, and I thought that was a lot.
I'm pretty sure my Snap was at, like, 100,000 before I was even 18.
Most people I know have, like, 100,000.
I've had the same Snap since I was, like, 15 or 16 whenever Snap came out and we got it.
Right.
And back then you snapped your friends everything and like all that. Even 3 years ago, like, snapping this guy, like, we were snapping all day every day, like, that was how we conversed.
I actually really like Snapchat for certain things, like your friends.
To see people.
Yeah,
or like whatever. Anyway, so I had a very specific image of this guy, and he asked me to go on a date, and I said yes because I thought that he was, like, everything that I wanted, and I was, like, super into it, and I was like, okay, we're gonna go on a date. So the plan was he was gonna pick me up and we were gonna go for a hike, because at the time I hated going on dinner dates with guys. Like, I just hated that, so I was always recommend going for a hike. And when I think about this now, I'm like, that's a huge safety precaution. Like, please don't do what I am gonna tell you I did. Okay, so to speed up the story a little bit, there was this extra little fact that I have to throw in there. We were gonna go hiking, but my hiking boots were at my workplace, which at the time I was working at Orange Theory Fitness, which told you guys all about that story. And my entire friend group, like, I was very new to living in Halifax, so the only people I really knew were the people I worked with at Orange Theory. So when he was coming to pick me up, I asked, okay, I live 2 minutes away from Orange Theory at the time. I was like, can we run by my work? I just want to get my boots and then we can go off for the hike. He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. I'm on my way now. Come out of my apartment, go in. Guy's got a big lifted truck. I'm like, yes, I love this. Like, I've already got this vision of the guy. Perfect. I open the door and I like, hi. Comes back to me.
Wait. Can we pretend? Okay, you're Liv and I'll be him. You do it.
Yeah, let's do it like this. Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Liv. How are you?
I'm not fucking kidding. When I told Alex briefly about this story, I was like, girlfriend, his voice was yours. And like, you guys listen to us. You can tell. Like, I don't think that my voice is like masculine per se, but it's definitely not feminine. Like, I don't have a high-pitched voice. Alex definitely has a more femme voice than I do.
What do you mean? I have the lowest voice around.
Shut up. You already know.
I have a child's voice.
Anyway, but like, if his voice was that much higher than mine, like, you know, it's just...
If you literally picked up the phone, you wouldn't know if it was me calling or him.
His voice did not suit him and what he was presenting in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But I started to realize, like, the more time that I spent with him, that he was actually, like just a very femme, like, a lot of femme traits to him, which I have nothing against that. Like, a lot of guys and even women, like, we have that, right? That transitions between every gender.
We're both, exactly. We're 50-50, masculine, feminine.
But I think I had just, like, a very strongly masculine view of him, and that's the way that he looked like he was presenting himself. And then whenever I met him, it was very clear to me that, like, all of that was, like, to steer people away from the feminine.
Like, overcompensating.
It was.
Like,
it really was.
You have to know when you're a person, you're slamming.
You're just fucking smack the laptop.
You have to know. Yes, we don't hear ourselves the same way. I actually have a trick that we can teach people if they ever want to hear what they really sound like. Because Liv and I hear ourselves on recordings, and we hear each other how we sound now. Like, we're getting used to our real voices. But obviously, when we listen to ourselves, our eardrums are vibrating. We're hearing a lower decibel version of our voice.
It's not the true tone.
But you still know.
You have an idea. You've listened to videos of yourself.
Probably tell you. Maybe not him.
But I just don't think that you could be a man with a high-pitched voice and not know that.
Yeah. So I wonder, okay, so continue.
This isn't even the worst part. This was just the start. That was the introduction, and immediately, like, pussy dried up, cobwebs came across. Like,
wait, this is an ick.
Like, it was full ick. There was no potential for us down the road because I immediately was
You'd be, like, in bed being like, oh, baby, do you like that?
Well, and so another thing, like, obviously, I was dating, but I, like, also wanted to hook up with the guy, and we, like, sexted a little bit, right? And I have this envision, and then I see him, and I was just like, oh, but...
It's not that masculine, dominant kind of vibe that you were going for.
It wasn't at all. And it's not... So he had a high-pitched voice, but I'm also telling you that there were very, like, feminine mannerisms to him. And I am even... Like, I am super femme sometimes, but I'm also a masculine woman sometimes. So for him to look like he was presenting more femme than I was, like, was uncomfortable for me. I was just not into that at the time. Anyway, so we go by my work, we pick up my hiking boots. As I'm, like, running in to get my hiking boots, all of my friends from work are there, and I spill the beans because they know I'm going on, like, my first date in Halifax. I think it was literally my first date in Halifax, now that I think about it. And he wasn't even from Halifax. He was from, like, outside the city somewhere, and he, like, came in to take me for a hike. So I tell them that, and it's funny because my manager at the time, who was, like, an older man, literally was like, who the fuck on their first date goes for a hike in the woods with a stranger? And, like, literally losing his mind. And, like, all the girls were like,
typical dad behavior.
Yeah, and he is a dad, so
That's
it was, like,
funny.
It was so funny. I will never forget that. And honestly, he's probably going to listen to this
thank
and
God
remember.
you told them. Now you have, like, 6 people at your work that knows now you're going on a date.
So I will, and I'm going to say this, don't be like me and make your first date, like, out in a hike where you don't have transportation to get away kind of thing, because you're going to hear how uncomfortable my situation was and understand why. But also tell people if you are. Like, let your friends know where you're going. Have your...
Do as she says, not as she does.
Yeah, exactly that. Anyway, we'll speed up the story because
I like it. This is fun. Continue.
It was just a shit show.
So he's waiting in the truck.
So I go in, I get my boots, I immediately tell them, his voice is the highest male voice I've ever heard in my life. And they're like, wait, what? And I'm, like, reenacting it for them, and they're like, you're joking. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. Anyway, so they're like, don't go. And I'm like, well, I can't. He's out there waiting for me. What do I do? Like, just not come back out? Text him and be like, I'm not coming back out. Go back out and be like, sorry, your voice is too high. I don't want to pursue this. Like,
and maybe there's a part of you that wants to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, we had been talking for weeks because he lived outside of Halifax. Totally. So I had a good idea of him already and, like, things about him. And like I said, everything we wanted out of this was, like, lining up.
The personality, for the most part, was... like,
yeah, but it just gets ickier and ickier. So I get back in the truck and carry on the conversation. Everything's very high pitched from there on, and I'm just trying to raise my voice a little bit so that I don't sound like the man of the two of us. Yeah. And it was an interesting interaction. Anyway, so we get to the place that we're going for a hike, and there's a couple different hiking trails in Halifax that have, like, platforms in and amongst them that we view through the woods or over kind of like swampy areas. So we had been hiking already probably for, like, I think we hiked in for about 45 minutes at this point. Yeah, and then, okay, so we're walking on these little platforms going over, you can probably already tell where this is about to go. It's like literal swamp, like mud, bugs, fish probably are below us. And we're, like, literally just, like, walking. Yeah. And for some reason...
And this whole time, he's been trying to probably, like, be more masculine or show off a little bit more.
He was really showing off. Yeah. I could, like, his ego was really big, and I could see that, and because I wasn't playing into it, I could tell that he was trying harder. Yeah. So we're hiking, and he was walking in front of me, but it was, like, the pathway was narrow that we had to go in front, like, one behind another. We couldn't walk side by side and, like, stare into each other's eyes and talk. So he kept turning around and walking backwards. And I was like, stop doing that. You're gonna fall. Or, like, be careful.
That's really awkward,
and I was also just like, can you not turn around and look at me when I'm, like, just hiking? Like, this is just kind of weird. Yeah. Like, just walk in front of me and let's keep talking until we're side by side again. Yeah. And he would not stop. He just kept turning around, and sure enough, he's walking backwards and just quite literally walks backwards off the platform that we were walking on, and we were probably like 3 or 4 feet in the air, and this guy just fell on his back ass first into a literal swamp.
Oh my god, I have secondhand embarrassment right now.
I wanted to turn around and run away.
Alright, you do you, I'm out.
So from here on, it just got worse and worse. Did you do? So I, like, had to pull him out because, like, he's sinking into it, his boots, his entire, like...
The mud is hard to get out.
And it's, like, black mud. Like, it was very, very dark, and he had jeans and, like, just, like...
Wait, he hiked in jeans?
Yeah, he hiked in jeans. He had a button-up shirt on that was tucked in. Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's already a, like... And you guys had planned the hike before.
I asked to go pick up my hiking boots. Like,
and he showed up in a button-up shirt and jeans.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's what I mean, like, the femme mannerisms. Like, he was so, like, his physique was just, like, so anal.
He wanted to be, like, really put together. And,
he was, like, dressing as if we were going on a dinner date.
Yeah, that's what I imagined, like a dinner date. Yeah.
Well, he probably wanted more, or whatever the fuck. Anyway, so I pull this, like, big-ass fucking man.
Yeah.
Female voice out of the mud.
I'm sinking.
Yes, after I just fucking told him, you're gonna fall in.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah.
So he's obviously, like, humiliated and turns around, and his entire backside is soaked, muddy.
And you guys are like 45 minutes.
45 minutes in the middle of a hike.
Oh.
So he wants to keep going.
Okay, my face, what? Wait,
but you guys have visual at this point.
Yeah, we will eventually, but, like, holy cow, my mouth has dropped.
Yeah, well, think of anyone else in that situation. I would want to go home and change. I'd be humiliated. The last thing I want to do is keep hiking if I'm, like, muddy and soaked.
If I was in hiking clothes, and I had, say, like, I had a hiking jacket, and I could take it off and put it around my waist, or, like, I had shorts on, I could just take water. Like, it depends, but if you're in...
jeans, like, when
you're
they
in
get
dinner
wet,
attire,
comfortable. Yeah, like, his button-up shirt had to have been ruined.
Right.
Like, it was, like, light blue, and I'm 90% sure, like, you had to throw that out or, like, hella stain remover it or whatever. But yeah, so I'm like, oh my god, we have to turn around, obviously. And he's like, no, I want to keep going. And I can't remember correctly, but I think we actually did keep going for, like, another 15 minutes or something. And then that's when I realized that I'm like, I still have the time that it took us to get here. that's how much time I have to spend with this person to just get back to his truck.
Totally.
So that's when I was like, let's turn around. And he was like literally fighting me on that. Like he just wanted to keep going deeper and deeper into the woods.
And now you're like, okay, what is your intention?
Well, I was like, are you gonna kill me?
Yeah.
But then also I was like, I had to pull you out of the thing. For some reason I felt like I could take myself. Like this man just was not, I was not scared, but I also was like, what the fuck are you doing? Why do you still want to be out here?
Give us a little bit of a visual. How tall would you say he is?
Okay, so I'm like 5'3.5". He was definitely 6 feet, but probably not much taller than that. Like probably 6'1" max.
Yeah, that's like
tall,
yeah,
right?
He's not like 5'8".
Yeah,
so
compared to me. Oh, and like another thing that I didn't really share because I don't want to be a bitch and like, it was just very obvious. Remember how I said he was sending these snaps and he had like the big old chest muscles and the big old shoulders? Like it was so obvious when I met this guy in person that he was like hella posing and like taking the photos from angles. Like his pecs were like way up here, but then he had tits underneath them and like, yeah.
Right.
He just had a huge belly that I never seen in any of the pictures. And
that's usually indicative of guys who like to have a little bit of help when they are bodybuilding. If you are picking up what I am putting down, the high voice, the gut, and the breast tissue.
Very possible.
It is... I hear in the bodybuilding industry, it is I see it all over TikTok. People are like, how do you get that big? And then everyone's like, you can't without help. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to say specifically what it is, but you guys can all assume what it is.
I'll say it. Steroids.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Well, that's the thing.
I'll be honest, I don't think that this guy was on steroids, but I have a really good tell just by looking at, like, the male body. I could see some of the tendencies, and, like, there was not a lot of that there. Like, he was super top heavy, but had no legs whatsoever, and even, like, his waistline was so teeny, and I know this is obviously just, like, someone's genetic build, but, like, he very much just had a lot of, like, female, feminine looks to him.
Yeah.
But then also was trying to present himself as this big, like, macho man. Right. And he just wasn't able to sell that.
Instead of just, like, embracing who you are.
I know.
Yeah.
And the energy was there. Even if he didn't fall in. Even if his voice wasn't like that. Like, I wasn't... There's many other reasons that I was uninterested. Totally.
If you don't have a vibe, you don't have a vibe. It's really hard. Some of those things, it's hard to get past. Like, you're allowed to have preferences. You're allowed to have icks. Like, a guy is allowed to pick brunette over blonde.
Absolutely.
A girl can choose a tall or short guy.
There's enough out there for everyone.
Like,
so
exactly.
Like, be picky with who you want to be kind of thing.
If we're not,
who you want to be with.
Yeah, you're not like, oh my god, you're so hideous and slammed the door in his face. You gave him the benefit of the doubt. You went on the date. You tried to make an effort.
Yep.
You know, and it just didn't work, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. So this finishes like pretty normal or whatever, but I'll wrap it up with this. Eventually we were like, I think we were an hour and 15 minutes in on the hike when we finally were able to turn around. So there's 2.5 hours hiking alone, and the hike was like a 45-minute drive away from where I lived.
Right.
So then after the hike, we got back to his truck, and I'm thinking, thank the fuck, I'm on my way home. And
he's still full of mud.
He was soaked the entire time. Yeah, driving. And like he continued to walk backwards and was like tripping over roots.
Really?
Yeah, and like it was so humiliating. I was like, I don't understand. Like, you're trying so hard with me that you've turned me off entirely, which like that's a whole other thing in itself. Anyway, so I'm thinking he's heading in the direction to my house, so I'm thinking, okay, like I'm going home, right, or whatever.
Oh my god.
And then just at some point he takes a random exit and decides to go to Starbucks, the one literally out by your place that we go to. And I was just like, where is he going? And I didn't really ask any questions. We were keep going, and he like literally pulls into Starbucks, and he's like, do you want to go in and get a coffee? And like had pulled in, parked his truck, and then asks me, do you want to go in and grab a coffee?
So he puts you on the spot to try to prolong the date. Yep. He's covered in mud in his business attire, and literally didn't even pre-ask you, and he just kind of, oh my gosh,
like literally. And I was like,
boys,
actually,
don't do this.
Don't do this. Don't do this. Also, if you know that you've not fucked up the date, but if your date already you can tell is not interested in you, take the loss, man. Just take the loss. Take her home. Like, go home and wash yourself. And
and why would he want to go into Starbucks when he's covered in mud like that?
And another thing I'm like just thinking now is he still had like an hour drive home after he dropped me off to get back out of the city.
Right.
And he's sitting in his, and he had a nice truck. He's sitting in his nice truck, like soaking wet, like muddy. It just like he had no care in the world for that. It was very strange. But yeah. Anyway, so that was extremely uncomfortable, and I'm actually really proud of myself because at the time I did not do well with denying people or telling people no. Yeah. And I told him, I was like, no, I'd like to go home, actually. And I was like, I don't understand why you want to go to coffee when you're muddy and soaking wet. I was like, we also just went on a hike for 2.5 hours. Like, I'd like to go home now. I'm good. That's all the time that I have, kind of thing.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, and I even watched him take, like, the longest route to my house, and I was just like, I don't, like, you didn't take this route on the way out here. I don't know why you're taking it back, kind of thing. Like, it was just some very, like, weird things.
Yeah.
Anyway, so as soon as he dropped me off, yeah, I was a bitch back then. I ghosted him for sure.
Well, okay. Well, sometimes, yeah. I mean, no, we don't agree with ghosting. We think that's wrong. But, like, if you're not feeling safe in a situation, if you don't really owe people anything at the end of the day, if it's, like, something that you're feeling uncomfortable or not safe in, or a situation that's made you feel a certain type of way, if you don't really owe somebody anything.
The thing that was confusing to me is, like, how there were two people there. The energy was what the energy was. There's two people there who have the ability to read and feel the energy. And I guess I was just really confused that he thought I was still interested, because I was...
You didn't give him any signals.
I was very standoffish. I wouldn't let him touch me. I wouldn't let him kiss me. When he was, like, turning around, walking backwards, he's constantly being like, oh, I just want to look at you because you're so beautiful. And I literally was like, that's weird. Can you please walk straight?
Oh
like,
my God.
I wasn't being a bitch, but I was, like, being very clear that, like, this is weird. This is fucking weird, dude.
So when he dropped you off, what was the vibe like?
He tried to kiss me and I said no.
He still tried to kiss you.
Yeah.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, and I immediately, like, went back up into my apartment, and I think before I even unlocked my door, he had already snapped me. Like, he messaged me before pulling out of my driveway, kind of thing, and I was just like, oh my God. Actually, okay, so no, I remember. I did end up ghosting him, but I did chat with him that day, and I told him that the energy was off and that it was really weird, and, like, how he was just acting weird the whole time. I was trying to make it less so about the fact that he fell and embarrassed the fuck out of himself, and more so just, like, you were being weird, dude. Like, you were giving off weird energy. I'm not interested.
Totally.
And he kept prying and prying and prying for weeks and weeks and weeks until I eventually stopped answering and then deleted him off Snap.
Okay. Well, then that's a whole different story there.
And
but
then
still...
literally speed through to, like, a year later, he messaged me on Instagram, like, once out of the fucking blue, and I don't even remember what the message was, but, or, like, specifically what it said, but he was like, do you want to give it another shot? Or it was like, how about we, like, try to do that date again and do it better this time? Or it was, like, something like that, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Sometimes people just don't have the ability to take the hint or understand.
Common sense ain't so common.
Common sense is definitely not common.
No.
I think, you and I have talked about this, like, we're getting so much better at communicating. Like, yes, no is a one-word sentence, and it is a complete sentence, and you don't need to say anything more. But, like, communication for me is really important, and I think it is for you too. But, like, when you say, like, I'm not interested, and people still continue to push and stuff.
That is the end of the conversation.
Why do you want to be with somebody who clearly is not interested in being with you?
Yeah.
And, like, I don't think I would show my face again if that ever happened to me.
Well, like,
I'd be mortified.
Had a lot of balls for, like, how awkward he was, and, like, I love confidence, like, that's great, but if it's, like, there's a difference between confidence and cockiness, absolutely, and, like, he didn't even have things to be confident in. Like, it was like, what? You're making up for your insecurities, and I can see that.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is...
How cringe, man.
I feel...
That was, like, 4 or 5 hours of my life that I was just... The second I opened that door, I already wanted to go back upstairs.
That's so funny. And you know what? Some people do. Like, I've seen people that actually have just, like, opened the door, and they're like, nope. And they turn right back around.
To get that strong.
Honestly. Or, like, I've seen TikToks where girls have said, I went to dinner and we, like, met for dinner. He said he had to go to the bathroom and left her sitting there at the dinner, and then she, like, went home and texted, and he was just, like, horrible to her and said, like, you're not what I want.
You don't have to do that.
Yeah,
like, I think I did the right thing by continuing to go on the date and give him the benefit of the doubt, and, like, even afterwards, I did talk to him a little bit. I was very clear up front that, like, I don't want to date again. I don't want to go on. That was a no for me kind of thing. Like, I made that very clear. But then when he kept prying is when I was like, okay, I'm going to fucking ghost you because I'm not...
Yeah.
I don't have to answer this anymore. I've said my piece kind of thing. But...
yeah.
I don't.
There's just some, like, certain red flags. Like, I've been on dates with guys who've just literally all they talk about is their ex. Well, she did this, and this is why it broke up. And I went,
The only thing you can think about is like, well, what would she say about you then?
Yeah, and
I would
also,
love to know her side of the
sometimes
story.
I think of it, and I'm just like, okay, well, I kind of agree with her. Like, you know, maybe.
Oh, those are the worst.
Yeah, and then I've been on dates where guys have been on their phone. I've been on dates where, you know, they're just all they're trying to do is be all over me, and I am, again, same with you, just not giving in the vibe that I'm really interested. They can't take the hint, but I'm shy or insecure to, like, stand up, too nice to say anything, and it is just horrible.
You don't want to hurt someone's feelings, and, like, putting yourself out there dating, like, that can be... That's, you know, you're putting yourself out there, and, like, people have insecurities. We're not trying to make them more damage kind of thing, but also, like... Yeah, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt until it's no longer deserved or whatever.
Okay, I got to take a break because I got to pee like a racehorse.
All
so
right.
I'm going to go pee.
Break time.
And then we'll come back.
See you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, I am
She's
back
relieved.
and ready to be back in business.
Yeah.
And you got to start a little timer again.
Yeah. Got a few more minutes.
Thank you for sharing that story. Before we came back here, I was just laughing at her asking me to show me who he was on Instagram. But now you say
I can't remember his name.
You can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Which is the
We've
worst
literally have just been
part.
sitting here and I'm like racking my brain. I'm
God.
like, and to be honest, like I've had this guy in the back of my brain for so long because I always, like if anyone would ask me what's your worst date, I'm like,
You reference it.
let me tell you about this because
Yeah.
it's going to go even worse than you think. But
That
yeah, I
was
literally
just the
cannot
icing on the
remember
cake.
his name.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's probably for the best.
Your voice stuck out more than your name, dude.
Honestly, maybe he could do some, like, cartoon voice acting or something. Like, use that to your advantage.
Honestly.
Like, be a Disney princess or something.
Yeah. I don't
That's
I
actually
don't
a
know.
secret dream of mine. I'd love to voice a Disney princess. I feel like I'd be really good at it.
You would be good. Guys, tell her that she
Yeah,
has
but
the voice
I
for
have
it.
to put the, like, I actually can put a voice, like, my
Well,
normal voice isn't it, but,
No,
like...
but you had, like, your normal
I would
voice
love
probably
to do it.
has...
Anybody who does voice acting, like, send me a message. I actually, funny enough, I was the voice actress for a company's system that said that they were unavailable. So when you would call them, I was like, thank you for calling, da-da-da. And I was the voice person.
Oh, that's so fun.
I was like, press 2 for, you know,
Yeah.
which is funny. And they recorded because I had, like, a feminine, soft voice. And
Yeah.
so that's a funny
That's
tidbit.
like a whole thing that you could totally pursue.
I actually feel like it's probably still my voice. Maybe.
Probably.
I don't know.
Why would they change it unless you...
Well, they kind of like shut down the company, so it's not really that active. But
Maybe then.
anyway, yeah. Well, good to know.
Yeah. Well, that was an interesting story to say the least.
Funny enough, like I'm sitting here thinking about some of my experiences, and like I haven't had any crazy dates. Like I dated a lot when I was in Alberta for the first time. I moved out there at 25, so I was kind of in the dating scene. Way more people out there, so like Tinder and Hinge and Bumble.
So much more to play
A
around
lot
with.
more options.
Yeah.
I didn't...
Also, can we just acknowledge when you move from, like, your hometown to a new place, like, the up-leveling it feels like on these dating apps? Like,
well, because it's new people.
yeah, when I first moved to Halifax, I was like, what the fuck? Why is everyone hot?
That's so funny.
And now,
it's
I mean, I don't go on Tinder, like, ever now,
Yeah.
but the odd time that I do, I'm like, what is this place?
Yeah. It's very different. I mean, I've gone to, like, San Diego or California or LA in California.
LA is fun
it's
to do.
very different vibe.
But it's also like, are you all celebrities that I
Yeah.
just don't know?
Honestly, like, I would love to just go on Raya for a day to see, like, the kind of people who are there, because that's the celebrity dating app, but... Anyway, it's very different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was in a 4-year relationship all through university, so I didn't have any dates in university. And then I lived here and dated a little bit, and then moved out there, and then dated a little bit, and then had a boyfriend again, and then came home, had a boyfriend again, and then COVID. So my dating, like, I've been on lots of dates and met up with a lot of different people and had quite a bit of different boyfriends and have been catfished and ghosted. But your story kind of reminds me of one that actually it wasn't a date, but my ex-boyfriend and I, my most recent ex-boyfriend and I had gone on a hike as well. And we used to
hiking story time.
Yeah, like we used to hike it, like we only dated for about 6 months, and it was through like the fall through to the winter into the spring, and so it was winter time for most of the relationship.
Yeah.
So we like to be outside a lot, and when we hiked, it was mostly winter hiking.
Yeah.
And so we went out to hike one place in Truro, Victoria Park.
Oh, I love that
And
spot.
this was prior to when we have had the most recent hurricane where it kind of destroyed Victoria Park a little bit. So we had gone out there, and we were both in sneakers. Like I now have those like things that you can put on the bottom of your sneakers that have spikes. So like now I can turn any boot into like more of a hiking thing. I do want to get hiking boots, but regardless,
sneakers and
we were in like
now,
running shoes. Like, and anybody who knows Victoria Park, it's extremely hilly. It's like, if you've just seen Jacob's Ladder, you know the steepness of it. If not, Google it, you'll see it. It's crazy. And it's like dead of winter, and we're going out. And if you knew my ex, he is a very big guy, very tall man.
Oh no.
And so it's quite funny when tall men are clumsy and like
what, like when they try to save themselves from
falling.
they
They don't have their balance.
Yeah.
It's like hilarious. Anyways, long story short, this is not even a big story. It's just we were trying to hike, and every 2 seconds we were slipping and falling down the sides of these mountains, like literally like wiping out every 2 seconds. Like we couldn't get our footing. We had climbed to the top of this hill, and it was pure ice that in order for us to get, we literally had to sit on our butts and like butt slide down into like the next section, and every time he stood up he'd wipe out. And then there was this man who had this dog, and this dog was off the leash, and it was barking and it was chasing us, and he was afraid of the dog, and it was chasing him, and he slipped and flew down this like 20-foot side of the hill in Victoria Park and like tumble rolled down. I was laughing so, like, first of all, you shouldn't be laughing when people fall.
Check if you're good first.
Yeah, I'm usually really good. Like, obviously I'm like, are you okay? And then as soon as he was, I was like, but I had laughed so hard. We had come across a woman as well with a man, or a woman with a man, a woman with a child with a little girl, and they were also slipping and falling. So we had to like take this little like 7-8-year-old girl and like hand her off to each of us. She ended up sitting on my lap while I slid down the hill because she was afraid. Anyways, we were trying to have this like nice hiking day, and at the end of it we were like full of mud, we were so soaking wet, like probably had bruises all over our body.
Didn't even get that many steps in.
Oh my god, no, it was horrible. It was the worst. The worst hike. Like, if you don't have the proper stuff, do not go winterized hiking.
No, for sure.
But it was so funny to watch, just like us just basically slip down this mountain for the whole time. Anyway.
See, like that though, this is your partner, you've been together long enough, like watching him fall, you can affirm that he's not hurt, and then you can laugh about it, and it's funny. My situation with this being our first date and being my first encounter with the guy, like you're trying to be on break the ice.
Yeah, you you're trying to be on your best behavior. Yeah. Like this point, I'm just like thinking like, how would you, and like you probably wanted to laugh, like you probably wanted to like,
there was like not even a bone in my body that wanted to or could laugh, because I was like
so turned off.
I was so turned off, but I also like knew that this was gonna happen. The amount of times that I like told him to, first of all, stop turning around and looking at me because you're making me uncomfortable, but also stop, like you're gonna trip. He was doing that the whole hike, and like when we weren't on the path, we were walking through like the roots, and he's like tripping over them, and I'm just like, you're gonna fall. And then sure enough he does, and I was just like, I felt like a mom being like, I told you so. Now let's go back to the truck, honey.
Now we have to,
Yeah, it was just like fucking. But like, if that was a situation where we were partners for a while, there's no fucking way I was helping that person out of there. I would sit there and laugh my ass off if I saw you walk backwards, and I told you already, be careful, you're gonna fall, and then you sure enough do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Without
yeah.
hurting yourself.
Yeah, like,
obviously
make sure you're good, like, everyone's safe, but then I'm gonna leave you there and watch you struggle to scoop yourself out.
Freaking, yeah, I went on a date once with a guy. We drove like an hour outside of Halifax to go to this date. It was our second date, so I'd already known him.
That's not too
so
bad.
It wasn't as bad. We had, spent some time together beforehand. We made a picnic. It was supposed to be this awesome date. And we couldn't find where the hiking trail was.
Oh, no.
And we ended up walking and behind somebody's house in behind the woods, and like he was adamant that this was like, how sometimes, no offense to men, sometimes you get really stubborn when it comes to like directions or like,
especially like first, second date thing.
Yeah,
like that, he
like,
probably still wanted to impress you and make you think that he knew where he was going and what he was doing.
Yeah, it was this well-known hiking trail too. We couldn't find it. We ended up not even being close to it.
Oh gosh.
But we ended up going for 2.5 to 3 hours in the deep woods. There was no actual trails, so we walked literally in our sneakers again. This was in the summer, so in our sneakers down a like rapids river. Mind you, it was only up to like our shins, but there was no place to go, and we were supposed to get to this waterfall, so he was just like, follow the river, like we'll follow, and we walked in the actual river in our sneakers.
Dangerous.
We ended up getting to the end of the river. Yes, there was a waterfall, like a watering hole area,
but it was probably not the one.
It wasn't the one we were looking for. And we ended up like swimming a little bit, but now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, probably shouldn't have done that. He like also jumped off the cliff into this watering hole, and like, anyway,
no.
So we tried to get
like history to know that like those places are safe before jumping.
I had actually asked him not to do that, but he did it anyways, and I was like, all I could imagine is what would have happened if like he jumped in.
Well, are you dragging his massive ass body like
well,
out of the woods?
Yeah, like
you don't even know which way you're
we
going.
We have no service. I don't know where we're at. We're like almost 3 hours in, like, and if he got hurt, I don't even know. What do you do? Like, if I can't get service, like I'd have to run 2 hours at least. I don't know. Anyways, not that I wanted to think about that, but
that's a good point to make. This guy fell off backwards. He could have hit his literal head on a rock and like killed himself for all I know. Like, don't like be stupid.
Yeah, you have to have your stuff organized.
But also, like, we're not that hard to impress. You don't, and 9 times out of 10, when you are trying really hard to impress us, we know that, and it's either not working for you, or it's a turn off, or maybe it is working for you, but like, I feel like it's just so obvious when I go on a date with someone and they're trying so hard to impress me, and you don't act like yourself. You do stupid things.
You want them to be comfortable enough with you to be more authentic. Yeah. And I'd rather you be like sitting down and having a conversation with me than try to like show me some things. Like I want to see those things. I want to see those things that you're good at and be impressed by you. Like that can be down the road.
It's not the first or second date thing now. I think that's a huge like point that I'll just add to this is some people like want and think that they need to impress on the first date like so much because you won't get the second one, and obviously you do need to make a good first impression, but humans are really good at reading people's energy. Even if we're not actively doing it or super aware of it, we know when we leave a situation how that person made us feel, right?
Yeah.
And if the energy is not there, it's not going to feel right, and one or both people are not going to want to go on another date or pursue things. So like,
you're better off just trying to be as upfront as possible, as quick as possible, because like we said in our other episode, is like that will show up anyways. If you come to a first, second, third, 3 months into the relationship and you're buying your partner gifts or you're booking reservations and you're doing all of a sudden like all of that stuff, and all of a sudden it stops,
you're gonna notice that.
People are gonna be like, oh, like I missed the person
you were only trying to impress
me.
Like, you gave me a false vision of what I thought you were like.
The Liv that I first met, who was the so-and-so that I was like I fell for, like that's you're falling for a false reality. But I guess in your situation, the guy probably, like, maybe that just was who he is, and that's why he, like, didn't take the hint and texted you,
cocky.
and, It's
wrongfully
just
cocky.
hilarious. Anyway, I think this has turned into like more of like a what to do and what not to
We're like,
do.
yeah, we're just reflecting over our dumb dates in the
God.
past. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, funny story. Thought I'd share. A little bit lighter.
I love
Hopefully,
that.
we
Thank
brought
you for
some laughs to
sharing.
you guys. And
Yeah.
I feel like people are literally listening to this, being like, "Oh my god, I went on a date exactly like this, or had a very similar situation." Like, so many people have those bad first dates. Like,
Yeah, we are human. We have all,
inevitable.
yeah, if you've experienced something crazy, it's very likely that somebody you know or somebody like you don't know but like is in your vicinity has a very similar experience.
Yeah.
And when you get to share those funny stories or reflect on things or things that we did when we were a kid or whatever,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god, you can see A, how far you've come, and B, it reminds you of other funny things that you can talk about, and we get to know another side of you and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely feel like we'll be sharing more of our random off the cuff stuff that's going on.
Yeah, I feel like every now and then a story time of like
Absolutely.
just something that comes up will be funny to share.
It is. I mean, we have a lot.
We do.
I can just, there's so many things like
Yeah.
and random facts that we don't know about our like us,
Yeah.
right, that you guys don't know about us. It's just, it's fun. So thank you for listening to our fun, quick episode.
Yep.
We hope you enjoyed the shenanigans of what was Liv's worst date. If there's any other topics or anything you guys want to hear about or stories,
please let us know.
please definitely let us know.
Yeah, also if you plan on hitting me up at any time in the future, no, I will not be going on a hike.
Yeah.
Anyone with a super if your voice is higher than mine, I'm sorry, it's not happening unless you're a woman. We're probably...
Good call. There you go. That is funny. But yeah, well now maybe we need to like set up your whole dating profile. Start a new profile for you.
Be very clear.
That's no high-pitched men, please.
I love going on hikes. Please bring your hiking boots.
Yeah.
No jeans.
Group hike next time.
Yeah, no.
And a place you've already gone to.
Honestly, no, I won't do hikes as a first date anymore. A walk is good, but make it a public place.
Point Pleasant, it's a great option.
Hike is a great third, fourth, fifth.
Yeah,
Find out the person's not a serial killer or can at least walk forward and straight. And then, you'll be good from there.
Yeah, maybe he couldn't walk straight because there was something else that
I'm gorgeous. What are you talking about?
Well,
that's all that mattered. He had to look at my face the whole time.
Well, that's good because the other not straight option probably wouldn't make sense with that then.
Yeah. Fucking awkward, though. Anyway, thanks for listening to my story, guys. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
What a fun episode.
We appreciate you guys. Love you all the time. And we will see you on the next show.
Yep. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Did you just thumbs up the mic?
Because I got closer and then I was like, chill out. I can't not. It's hard not to.
All right, take 17.